A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H. I want A+ English because it's so much fun. English education for you and everyone, so come along. Learn some grammar, learn a phrase, learn something new every day. Learn the A+ way. Hey, it's time to start the show. Are you ready? Good, 'cause here we go. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H. I want A+ English.
Hello everyone and welcome to A+ English. I'm Mike.
And I'm Chicklin.
Well, Chicklin, today we are going to learn how to send a message old style.
Old style?
Yeah, we're not going to be using email or any of your WhatsApp or your Line or even your Twitter or TikTok. Can you send messages on TikTok?
I'm not really sure.
You can on Instagram, so I guess
Yeah.
maybe. But anyways, we're not doing any of that stuff. And take your phone and throw it out the window. No, don't throw your phone out the window. You can just put it down over there because you won't be needing it because this time we're going to be learning how to write an address in English.
Cool.
So this is the kind of thing you would be writing on a postcard, a letter, a package, a box. Maybe you're sending a Christmas present or a birthday present. Birthday presents.
Oh.
I gotta send my mom a birthday present soon. I totally forgot. But the good thing is, once I find it and wrap it and get it in a box, I have her address.
Cool.
And I will learn how to write her address today. So that's great. Well, here's our warm-up question. Can you, I know I can you write an address in English? Not in Chinese, in English. And how is it different from writing it in Chinese?
You know,
That's a good question.
I used to find it very tricky when I was little to write something in English.
An
to
address
write an
in English?
address. Yeah, address
Really?
in English.
Okay.
When I was a kid, before I learned English.
Oh, well, yes.
Yeah, but after I learned English, of course, I think it's very fun, because it's just the other way around.
It is. And often, sometimes, I would say the addresses in English can sometimes be much easier, much shorter, right? Because people might live in a house, you have a number, you have a street, you have a town, you have a city. That's it. You don't have lane, xiang.
Oh my goodness.
You don't have nong, alley,
neighborhood.
sections, right? You don't have any of that kind of stuff. Like you have addresses in Taiwan can have many different things, right?
We
Your
even
street,
have
your lane,
village.
your alley. Yeah, all that stuff. But in both of them, there is a different style. There's a different way to do it. And if you try to do it one way in another language, it can get very confusing. And it might actually stop your letter or your package from getting where you want it to go. So yeah, it's important to know how to write an address in English. If you don't know how are you going to send a present to your best friend in London?
Yeah.
If you have a best friend in London or somewhere else. Let's find out.
How to write an address in English. Warm-up question. Can you write an address in English? How is it different from writing it in Chinese?
Ting is Taiwanese. She is staying in Canada with Evelyn.
Hey Ting, what's up? I want to mail something to my friend in Los Angeles. Let me help you write the address. First, we write the name in the middle of the envelope. Steve Chen. We write the address under the name. In Chinese, we write big places like the country first and then get smaller. But in English, we do it the other way around. Okay, so the house number is 17 and it's on West 30th Street. Then Los Angeles. Okay, and then California. You should write CA for short. Then the zip code 92803. And the country, US. You see, easy peasy.
Word power. Mail. Mail. Louise bought a gift for her uncle and mailed it to him. Louise bought a gift for her uncle and mailed it to him. Address. 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 Lindsay wrote her grandmother's address on the envelope and sent it. Lindsay wrote her grandmother's address on the envelope and sent it. Number. Do you have a lucky number? Mine is 3. Do you have a lucky number? Mine is 3. Short. For short. My full name is Samuel, but everyone calls me Sam for short. My full name is Samuel, but everyone calls me Sam for short.
All right, so let's get to our article and find out what is going on. Well, it's a dialogue. We can see that. And since it is a dialogue, we have a sentence at the top there that tells us what is going on. So what is going on? Well, we read, Ting is Taiwanese. Well, okay, good for her. So this is a young lady. Her name is Ting. She is originally from Taiwan. Why is that important or interesting? She is staying in Canada with Evelyn. That's why it's interesting, because Ting is actually a foreigner in Canada. She's a Taiwanese person living there, and I'm guessing maybe her friend Evelyn is from Canada. So Ting might be there studying or working, and she has a Canadian roommate or friend.
OK， 所以我们一开始就知道 Ting 他是台湾人，然后他跟那个 Evelyn 在加拿大。
Yeah, exactly. So Evelyn is the one who begins the dialogue by saying, "Hey, Ting," and then she says, "What's up?" All right, so what's up meaning what's going on? What are you doing? How are you? What's happening? Something like that. We get the idea here that probably Evelyn has been at school or work. She hasn't seen Ting since the morning or whatever. So she just comes home and says, "Hey, what are you doing? What's going on? What's up?"
那我们就先进到 Magic Box 听更多的讲解。
What's up?
What's up?
Yeah.
Not much.
All right.
Magic Box.
Yo, what's up? 我在台湾的粉丝们，是我 Mariah Carey， 好久不见哦，大家想我吗？哎呀，又到了圣诞节哦，每年圣诞节呢，一定要听的就是我的名曲 All I Want for Christmas is You。 一年又要过去了 How have you been？ 不晓得大家过得怎么样呢？我一直呢关心你哦，你怎么都没有反问一下人家过得怎么样？英文里啊，要打招呼呢，要关心别人呢，除了 How are you 之外，你还会别句吗？别担心哦，马上呢就要来跟你分享咯。首先呢，看到刚开头的这句哦 ，What's up？What's up 这句好常听到，到底是什么意思呢？它可以用在呢2个情境里面咯。首先呢是见到面打招呼哦，你就可以说 What's new? What's going on? 或者是呢我们刚刚讲 What's up? 有什么新鲜事啊 ？OK， 遇到这几句呢，你可以回答 Same old， 很好很好，老样子啦。或者是呢 Not much， 没什么啦，就这样咯。或者呢你也可以说 All right， 一切都好哦。What's up？ 第一个情境呢就是打招呼咯。那第二个情境呢 ，OK， 看到呢朋友啊，好像有心事耶，这时候呢，我们一样可以问 What's up？ 怎么啦？这个时候呢，你可以代换成别句了 What's the matter？ What's the problem？ 有什么问题吗？发生什么事情啦？关心一下对方哦，这个呢就是我们 What's up 的第二种用法咯。补充啊，其他打招呼的用法哦，除了呢可以说这个 How are you 之外呢，你也可以说 How are things， 或者是呢 How's everything， 一切如何哦，过得怎么样？或是呢，我们还可以说这一句哦 How's your day？ 你今天过得如何啊？注意到呢，既然是要问今天过得如何哦，通常呢我们早上就不会问这一句，因为才刚开始，应该还没有发生什么事情了。那开头呢，我们还有用到另外一句哦 How have you been？ How have you been？ 这句呢用到了现在完成式哦，就是要问呢这一阵子你过得怎么样咯。所以呢是不常见到好久不见的朋友，我们就可以用这句 How have you been？ 下次呢要打招呼，除了 How are you 之外，有没有学会其他说法了呢？
Alright， 所以 Evelyn 就看到 Ting 呢，他就跟 Ting 说 Hey， 怎么样了啊？最近怎么样了？怎么了吗？
All right, so what is it? What's going on? What does Ting have to tell Evelyn about something new and interesting? Well, Ting actually does have something new and interesting she's dealing with. She says, I want to mail something to my friend in Los Angeles. Okay, there you go. So Ting has another friend who lives in America in the city of Los Angeles, and she wants to mail something to her friend. Or she could, of course, also say, send something in the mail to my friend. That's right. With the word mail, we can use it both as a verb and a noun. Here, she's using it as a verb to mean basically to put and send a package, a letter, something like that, through the mail, through the post office.
So she gotta learn how to write an address in English.
Of course, they don't know where the package is supposed to go.
Yeah, you can't write a Chinese address.
No,
and
you can't just tell them and they'll remember. Right.
OK， 那我们先看一下 mail 这个单字。Mail 就是邮寄的意思，所以你可以说呢 I will mail my document to you before this Friday. 我这个礼拜我前会寄给你文件，或你也可以把它改写成 I will mail you the document before this Friday. 那这个字呢，我们也可以这边的 mail 我们在文章中是动词啦，那你可以变成名词说 by mail， 代表透过邮件。所以比如说 We contact our clients by mail. 我们呢是透过邮件来联络我们的客户。那我们再看一个句子 Louise bought a gift for her uncle and mailed it to him. Louise 买了一个礼物给他的叔叔，然后邮寄给他。所以 Ting 呢，他需要寄东西给他在 LA 的朋友，所以他要写地址吧。所以 What does Evelyn say next?
All right, well, Evelyn is going to help Ting out and make sure she writes the address perfectly. Evelyn says, let me help you write the address, okay? We should mention here, of course, address is the street name, the number, the town, the city, all that information the post office workers will need to make sure your letter or whatever gets where you want it to go. It's also how you know where you live. You know, if you get in a taxi or order a pizza, you have to tell them your address to find where you live or where you are. First, Evelyn says, we write the name in the middle of the envelope or in the middle of the envelope. That's a word you can use, you can say in a couple of ways, but basically it's that cover, it's that thing that you put your letter inside. And yeah, since she uses the word envelope, we know this is probably a letter that she is sending, but you would use the same form to put it on a label, on a package, or on the back of a postcard. But you do it in basically the same order. But here, it's for a letter. That's why we're using an envelope.
那接下来我们看一下地址 address 这个单字。Address 就是地址的意思，所以如果你家里的地址就是 home address， 或者是你的电子邮件就是我们的 email address。那这个字呢，如果当动词也可以有当写地址或演讲的意思。那写地址就是我们可以，比如说我们造一个句子好了 ，His package was wrongly addressed， 代表他的包裹的地址写错了。好，那课文例句我们再看一个 ，Lindsay wrote her grandmother's address on the envelope and sent it。Lindsay 在她的信封上写了她奶奶的地址，然后寄了出去。
All right, so back to putting the address on the envelope. Well, Ting, she says Steve Chen.
Okay, so Steve Chen.
Oh, that's the person she's sending it to.
Oh, yeah,
She's
yeah.
not just saying a person's name. She's writing this. She's actually probably writing it. But sometimes when we do that, we might say it out loud, right? Steve.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Chen. So there you go. Steve Chen. That is the name of the person in Los Angeles she wants to send this letter to. And then Evelyn explains we write the address under the name. So Steve Chen and then the address. And of course, this will probably start with a house number and the road name. So 123 Smith Street or Main Street or something like that. Now here, Evelyn points out an interesting difference. In Chinese, we write big places like the country first and then get smaller. But in English, we do it the other way around. Ah, interesting.
Okay.
So if Steve Chen lived in Taiwan, you might say Steve Chen, Taiwan, Taipei, Xinyi Road, something like that. But in Canada, or at least in English, I should say, we do it the other way around, from small to big. Steve Chen, Main Street, Los Angeles, California, USA. So you go
yeah.
from small to big, whereas in Chinese style, you go from big to small. That is a good thing to know.
所以 Evelyn 呢，她就很好心她要帮这个 Ting， 她就说，那你一开始呢，就是先写地址，我们把地址呢，我们就写在信封的正中央。那这边呢，又说到说 ，OK， 那你接下来再把地址写在名字下面，然后呢，中文的话呢，我们就是先写比较大的地方嘛。We start with the bigger place，所以像是我们的国家，比如说台湾，高雄市，然后什么区什么，或者是 blah 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 之类的。然后呢，如果是英文的话，我们直接就是倒反过来就 OK 啦。So it turns out that Evelyn knows Chinese too.
I guess maybe she lived here. She knows how people would write it here. Yeah, exactly. And it's the other way around. That's also, I guess, how we also Taiwanese people will write their name the other way around from Western people, right? The family name first, and then your given name. Or, of course, in the West, it's your given name first, and then the family the other way around. Okay, so back to the article. Ting says, okay, so the house number is 17, and it's on West 30th Street. All right, so that would be right below the name. Steve Chen, 17, that's the house number, West 30th Street. That could be Main Street or Jones Street or Madison Avenue, whatever, but you need that number first and then the street.
好，那这边出现 number，let's find out what it means。Number 就是数字啊，所以我们口语上也可以当电话号码的意思。比如说你跟人家要电话 ，Can I have your number？ 我可以跟你要电话吗？那这个字呢，有个片语很好记哦，就是代表加上可数名词，那就是少数的意思。A small number of something。比如说 ，A small number of people are allergic to nuts。有少数人呢对坚果是过敏的。又或者是如果今天讲的是多数，我们就可以变成 a large number of something。比如说 ，A large number of students participated in the event。有很多学生呢参与了这个活动。那我们再看那个句子。Do you have a lucky number? Mine is 3. 你有幸运数字吗？我的是3。Okay, 那我们来看一下准备写英文 because we've been learning how to write an address in English.
That's right. And every place is a little different, right? I mean, like I said, sometimes in Western countries, especially if you live in a house, it might just be the number, the street, the city. But of course, in a big city, you'll live in an apartment, and then there's, different ways that people do it. I think I would have, in my old place in Canada, would have been a street number, an apartment number, a few other things too. So it does get complicated. And of course, in Canada, we have provinces. In America, they have states. So these things are also different depending on the country you're sending it to.
I think I used to have a very short address.
Really?
When I was in the States.
Okay.
It's like 4 and then row name.
Yep.
And then the area code and that's it.
That's it. Yeah, basically
short.
That's all you need. In some places, but if you lived in downtown New York City, it might be a little complicated just because there's more buildings in one place.
Okay, so let's find out
Yeah,
more.
let's look at some of the common words you might see. Of course, city, everyone knows that one.
Like Taipei City, 台北市.
That's
or
right.
县, county,
Exactly.
like Nantou County.
That's right, yeah. And also township. That's one we would probably use when we're sending a letter outside of a city.
乡镇. So like, I think you mentioned that, right? We have so many different words.
Right, that's one that you wouldn't use in Canada, but if you're sending it out to a farming area of Taiwan, that might actually be very helpful. We also have district, which can be shortened to dist, D-I-S-T.
Or 像就是大安, like where we are.
Exactly. I guess in
district.
New York, you might say Manhattan or Queens or Brooklyn. These are all parts of New York City, but different districts. And then a village. Again, a very small kind of town or community in the countryside.
村啊，或者是里，或者是老师刚刚有讲到很小的邻，所以 like 24邻，我们就可以说 neighborhood 24.
Neighborhood.
Yeah, neighborhood. It's ling.
Oh, okay. No, I've never used that one. I mean, I know what a neighborhood is, but to actually put it on an address, that's one I've never seen before. And then, of course, there are the many different ways in English we say street or road. We could also say boulevard. Those are all basically big roads that cars go down. Roads and streets might be a little smaller, but of course in New York City, these avenues, streets, these are big roads. So it kind of depends on the place. So boulevard, road, and street. And then we have lane, which is something they use here a lot.
Here, like 350项
Right, and then of course alley, which might be off a lane.
什么弄啊，什么弄 or how.
Right, exactly.
Number.
And number, floor, room. Those are pretty common, especially floor and room for big apartment buildings in big cities and things like that.
所以呢，我们就知道文章就说号码呢是17C30节。
Yeah, but important to remember, everywhere is slightly different. So the style they use in one place, in one country, or even different parts of a city could be very different from in other places. Anyways, so back to the important stuff. For Ting's envelope, Evelyn then tells her, then Los Angeles. So she's written the name, she's written the address, the street number and street name, and then jump right to basically the city, then Los Angeles. That's the city in America Ting is sending her mail to.
然后 Ting 就说呢，所以 Evelyn 就说 OK， 然后接下来写下洛杉矶哦。And then what does Ting say?
Well, she's kind of getting the idea now, and she says, okay, and then California, right? Because, yeah, city in America and then state in America. Los Angeles, California, New York, Chicago, Illinois, Houston, Texas. That kind of idea. Those will be on the same line. And I think with America, you can also just use the 2 letters.
Oh, yeah.
Right? CA would be California. TX would be Texas. But you need to be careful with those because sometimes they get a little confusing.
Yeah.
Don't just make up 2 letters. Make sure you're using the correct 2 letters. Well, like Arkansas and Alaska are confusing, right? I think Arkansas is AR, Alaska is AK. But then there's Alabama, which is AL, but you might think Alabama, that could be Alaska.
Yeah, that's
exactly.
True.
It's confusing, so check it out. Look it up carefully. Anyways, so then Evelyn says you should write CA for short, as we were just saying. Then the zip code. Okay. 92803. Yes, right. The zip code, also sometimes called the area code, the postal code, something like that. But in America, they use this 5-number zip code, like Beverly Hills 90210.
Oh, wow.
The TV show, right?
OK， 所以我们来看一下这个 for short 这边的片语。那我们先看一下 short 这个单字哦。Short 就是简称的，所以这边的 for short 就是简称的意思。所以比如说呢，我们有个老师，你们都认识吧？你可以说 His name is Patrick or Pat for short。我也可以呢是指很简短的，比如说是一个短信，你就可以说 a short letter， 或者是一本篇幅比较短的书，就是 it's a short book。那我们再看一个例句 My full name is Samuel, but everyone calls me Sam for short。 我的全名是 Samuel， 但是大家都叫我 Sam。
All right, so yeah, make sure you get that zip code, that postal code on there. It can make it much easier for the mail carriers, I should say. And if you don't have it, your letter might be delayed or even lost. All right, so after writing the area code, the zip code, Ting says, and the country, US, USA, United States of America, anything like that would be fine. And then Evelyn says, you see, right? Now you've done it. It was only, 4 lines maybe? You see, easy peasy, she says, which is a cute little expression when you're showing or demonstrating or saying how easy something is to do.
所以呢，刚刚我们就说他们在互相写这个地址嘛，然后他就说，哎呀，你要记得缩写那个加州啊，然后就加上它的区码，这样就可以了。然后呢 ，Evelyn 就说，哈哈哈，你看这么容易，这个 easy peasy 就是很容易的意思。所以再写上国家，你就大功告成啦。
And all they have to do now is get that letter in a letterbox or take it to the post office. Ooh, put a stamp on it first.
Oh, don't forget.
Right. Don't forget to put the stamp on and then put it in the letterbox, in the mailbox. And hopefully in a day or 2, it will be in Los Angeles with Mr. Steve Chen of whatever his address was. All right, guys, thanks for joining us. We do have a review time coming up, though. So before you send yourselves off anywhere, come back and join us for that.
Review time.
All right, review time. Let's review our 4 new words for today. Mail, address, number, and short. So we're going to do opposite. You're not that short. We're going to do some opposites. If you were that short, I could put you in an envelope and send you somewhere. We're going to do opposite. So I will say the opposite or the different meaning, a very different meaning of one of the new words from today. Are you ready?
I am.
We will start simple. Letter.
What?
Letter.
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 Oh, God.
You know, like
I was very
ABC,
confident.
A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Those are letters. What's kind of the opposite of a letter?
I don't know. Address.
No.
Okay. Number.
Numbers, right? A, B, C, 1, 2, 3. They're kind of opposites, right? You use letters for language, numbers for math. Okay, here's another simple one. Long.
Oh, yeah. Very short.
Short. Short. Long. Okay.
Long hair,
nice and
short
easy.
hair.
How about this one? Call.
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 You call
I have
someone,
to
but
call my grandmother. It's her birthday.
But instead, you can mail her.
Right. You can mail something to her, which will take a long time, and you have to write it, or you can call her, and it'll be right away, and you can talk to her. This isn't quite opposite, but it's also what you have together.
Comfort.
Name.
Okay. You know why I know the answer?
Why?
Because that's the only one we have.
It's the only one left.
Yeah,
That's why I
yeah.
left it that way.
Address.
Right, exactly. Your name. Well, that's what they often say, right? Your name and address. One of them won't do. You have to put your name, that is who you are, and your address, that is where you are. All right, guys, thanks for joining us. We've been very happy to have you here at this address with us today, and we hope to see you back here at this address on another day for another article. But until then, take care.
And learn how to write addresses in
And
English.
write them carefully. Don't mess them up. Bye.
Bye.
How to write an address in English. Warm-up question. Can you write an address in English? How is it different from writing it in Chinese?
Ting is Taiwanese. She is staying in Canada with Evelyn.
Hey Ting, what's up? I want to mail something to my friend in Los Angeles. Let me help you write the address. First, we write the name in the middle of the envelope. Steve Chen. We write the address under the name. In Chinese, we write big places like the country first and then get smaller. But in English, we do it the other way around. Okay, so the house number is 17 and it's on West 30th Street. Then Los Angeles. Okay, and then California. You should write CA for short. Then the zip code 92803. And the country, US. You see, easy peasy.
Word power. Mail. Mail. Louise bought a gift for her uncle and mailed it to him. Louise bought a gift for her uncle and mailed it to him. Address. 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 Lindsay wrote her grandmother's address on the envelope and sent it. Lindsay wrote her grandmother's address on the envelope and sent it. Number. Number. Do you have a lucky number? Mine is 3. Do you have a lucky number? Mine is 3. Short. Short. For short. For short. My full name is Samuel, but everyone calls me Sam for short. My full name is Samuel, but everyone calls me Sam for short.